Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dili Utomi, and this is the Maritime Frontier Show brought to you on VOP Television. Today, we have a guest at the studio, and we are going to talk about talk on the topic, why the upsurge in drug-related seizures. Of course, we know that the Nigerian Customs Service and other security agencies have been making seizures of different types of drugs within the nation over the past few days. Since this year, a whole lot of drugs have been seized by different sister agencies of the within the Nigerian government. Before we start, I want to say very big congratulations to the country, to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the President, the CGC of Customs, and every citizen of this nation for the fact that after 14 years, Nigeria has been voted into the Category C of the International Maritime Organization. This position has been sought by the country for over 14 years, and it became reality on Friday, just a day yesterday. And so we say a very big congratulations to the country. Now, starting with the show, we have on the show today Mr. Bola Shirubalogun. He's the chairman of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, Muritala Mohammed Airport Command Chapter. Mr. Ashiru, you're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me start by first greeting your cherished viewers. Good morning, and also to congratulate the country for the main feat, for the entry into the Class C of the IMO. Good morning.
Yeah. So you're welcome to the program once again. This position, of course, Nigeria has been seeking for the past 14 years. We know the relevance of it for the nation and the citizens. But talking about today's topic, we were at a press briefing a few days ago where large quantities of drugs worth over 7 billion naira were seized. So today we are talking about the reason for the upsurge in drug-related seizures within the Nigerian nation. Why do you think there's this upsurge now in this seizure or the drug importation or exportation? Do you think that really there's an upsurge, or we are just discovering that the country is tightening the noose around the drug barons?
Thank you so much. I think I want to align with your second thought, because every nation has this challenge, and Nigeria is not an exception. But for over some time now, this illicit trade has been going on. But you see, when a country tightens its nose, that's when it becomes noticeable. Okay. I think I want to agree. I want to believe that it is because of the rejig within the security architecture of the country that we are seeing this. It's not as if it's not been there. But then, because now we have capable hands, so to say, and attention is being paid to that area, and that's why we are seeing this. And of course, you should expect this, because Nigeria, is occupying, through the CGC of Customs, is occupying the vantage position as the number one custom officer of the world. That's CGC.
Yeah, the chairman of board of the World Customs Organization.
That makes him the number one officer of the law within the area of customs, And of course, he has to tighten the noose, particularly around his own country's architecture, because if you want to lead, you must lead by example. And that is why we are seeing all these results. So it's not as if it is new. The trade has been there. So I don't want to see it as an upsurge, because it's been there. No nation on this earth now can say it's immune, against drug trade. And also, you see, the get rich quick syndrome is equally encouraging that. And that is, you can find that everywhere, you know. So for me, I want to believe that it is because Nigeria is doing the right thing. That is why you are seeing all these seizures,
okay.
You know.
So what you're saying in essence is that, like Chinua Achebe wrote in his book, since the hunter said that since the birds have learned to fly without perching, he too must learn to shoot without missing. Is that what is actually happening?
Very, very well. That's very apt.
We were given to think that Nigeria is just being used as a Korean nation, not a drug-using nation. Has that changed, or it's still true? I mean, that Nigerians don't use drugs, but they are just using Nigerians to courier drugs from one country to the other. How true is that?
Well, for me, I don't want to believe that, because the taste of the
pudding is in the eating.
It's in the eating. So when you courier, of course you must taste.
Yeah.
So Nigeria cannot say that it's just a courier nation. No. If it is allowed to be couriered through our space, of course, definitely some of these things will still find its way into the hands of our citizens. And to that extent, I don't want to believe that Nigeria is just a courier nation, and that is the reason why we're rising to this challenge. But because Nigeria knows that if this thing should find its way, I was with at one of the briefings by the Nigerian Customs Command Controller Awe. What he said that is remarkable is not about the seizure. He's so concerned about if the substance should get into
the effect
of it, which we should get into the hands of our children.
Okay.
You know, he was so passionate about that. And I believe that is one of the driving force that makes him to go all out. In fact, he retired recently, Controller. I want to wish you well in your retirement, and God will also be with you and guide you. You have done well during your time with us, because if you notice, you have always been coming around. It's almost on weekly basis that he makes seizures. And if he does that, it means that he's taking that quantum out of the society, out of the space. You know, you imagine what that could have done.
The negative effect.
The negative effect it will have had on public health.
Okay. We also noticed that some of these drugs are now, going back to what Chinua Achebe said, the bird also said that since the hunter has learned to shoot without missing, he too will start flying without perching. And we find out that these drug barons and couriers too, they have also devised so many various means of either concealing or transferring these drugs. Like you said, you've been to so many briefings where these drugs were showcased, seized drugs. I was at one too where I saw that some of these drugs now are being miniaturized. Like you have this loud or this hashish that should cost maybe to 5 billion naira, now being miniaturized into a small jar. So they call it hashish oil. I mean, it's becoming more and more alarming. A small jar like this containing something that costs about as much as over 2 billion naira. Why is it that Nigerians are going into this? I mean, it's considering the effect on public health and the attendant effect on security.
Thank you so much. You see, there are some Nigerians who have decided that the only way they can make affluence is through drugs, export and import. These people have seen it as a lifeline. Of course, they would devise different means to ensure that they remain in business. And for even just like I've said that you were at a briefing where such was discovered. it tells you that the Nigerian security architecture also is not resting on their oars. Because ordinarily, if this as small as it is, if it finds its way either into our own space or into international space, it's going to have a ripple effect, a ripple negative effect. The security challenge that we're having, that is on the rise recently, can also be linked to that. Those are part of the ripple effect.
Of course, yes.
You know, it's a correlation. So that is why I want to believe that Nigeria should still do more in its drive to nip this thing in the bud. It's a bad menace, and it has to be nipped in the bud. All of us, not even the security agencies alone, all of us Nigerians must rise up and say, no, this thing has to stop. Because it has to do with the future of the nation. And when you're talking about the future of the nation, you're talking about the youth.
Yeah.
As at the time that we will be retiring, you know, that is when we'll be relying on these
upcoming ones to take over.
So I imagine if a doctor wants to administer treatment to somebody of my own age now, the fear is there that, are you sure that is not under the influence of some of these drugs? So we cannot just sit down and say, okay, let's leave it to government alone. Everybody, all hands must be on deck. We must all fight this scourge, this menace. We have to fight it and put it. There are various ways of making good livelihood. It is not until when you resolve into drug import or export. So I want to plead with those who are the couriers, who are using our space, to please stop it. And also to encourage the security agencies also to be more eagle-eyed. And for those of us in the maritime space, we are also conscious of this fact. Like, I am the chairman of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents domiciled in the airport, and we have always encouraged our members to stay away from that practice, because such goods cannot leave the shores of this country or come in without our own collaboration. So now we have been encouraging our people that, look, it is time that we have to think of our nation. It shouldn't be about money alone. So, and I believe that that is what is also culminating in the arrest or the seizures that has been going on.
Okay, sir. They say that in everything, education is very, very vital. Are there ways of educating your members, vis-a-vis the public, on the dangers of some of these things? Because, like you said, a lot of people, most of us want to make money, but the level of differentiation between good ways of making money and bad ways of making money, that's people's own, imagination about what is right about how to make money and what is wrong about how to make money differs from one place to the other. Yeah. Don't you think that we need to educate freight forwarders or licensed customs agents and then the public more about the dangers of, because some people do not know really. They just, it's about making money. You sell drugs. After all, if you want to take drugs, you are free to take it. But it has total implication on public health. Are there ways of educating your members, sir? Yes,
actually, we have a plan that is in the offing, that's a collaborative effort with the NDLEA. I mean, to the extent that we'll be able to be educating our members on drug-related shipments. Because also, I want to admit that some of our members are ignorant of some of these products. So that is why we have thought, as the ESCOs of the association, to have that collaborative and educative cooperation with the NDLEA. Okay. Just 2 days back, the commander of the NDLEA within our space, our strategic space here, just retired or moved to other place. So the new NDL commander, we're going to sit with him to still push this ahead, so that we'll be having intermittent education for our members as to some of these drugs. Some of these drugs, we don't even know them. So they need to really educate us, you know, just like the one you just mentioned now. Okay, like a particular one that was stored inside toothpaste tube.
Okay.
How do we, as a licensed customer, how do we know that? Our own is STC, set to contain. We move it, but in order to still give more support to the drive against there has to be that collaboration between us and the respected agencies, related agencies, so that they can educate us from time to time on what are the red flags when we see such consignment. So it is I agree with you, it's very key. Education in that aspect is very, very important and necessary.
All right, sir. Going back to the issue of, you mentioned a bit about probably the attainment of the chairman of the board position by the Controller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi.
Yeah.
And the fact that over the past 2 years I has been in power as the CGC, he has talked about collaboration with international customs, as in customs of other countries. Do you think that this is part of what the fruits, the benefits of engagement with other customs, the seizure of these drugs?
No. I actually do not think. I agree. And I believe that because of that collaboration, because of that vantage position that he is now eagle-eyed. He sees the world. He's accessible to informations, international informations and all that. That has also accumulated into this rise in seizures. That also has placed Nigeria at a pedestal where the whole Committee of Nations are now feeling more comfortable with us, you know, to interrelate. And that is what has played out in this our ascension into
Category
C of the IMO, you see. Because the issue of drug movements centers centers within IMO purview, you know, because it moves from one point to another.
Yeah.
And the first point of call in any nation is the customs.
Yeah.
That have direct access to, and when you even say that, the first point of contact are in Nigerian parlance now is the licensed custom agents, because that's the person that comes to take
possession of the
goods and bring it out to customs for examinations and other agencies for participation as well. So you can see that it is very key as the customs is rising. So also the licensed custom agents should rise. Okay. Because we are both like I used to say, we are Siamese twins.
Okay.
We are Siamese twins. There's no between the customs, the uniform customs and the uniform customs. You know.
Okay. So like, you guys are the uniform customs.
Of course, we are the uniform customs. Okay. Like I used to enthuse.
Good one.
For instance, now I am also a CAC in a command.
Okay.
Because I used to enthuse that we have two CACs in a command. There is a custom area controller and there is a custom agent controller. You know, so that's the same status that we are. So the custom if the custom begins to see it from this spectrum, of course, that will also bring synergy that will make them achieve more. the custom agents have some liabilities, have some responsibilities to customs. And if there's that collaboration between the two, just like I said, as you are training the Nigerian Customs Service officers, train also along those that will have the first interface with consignments. You need it's a responsibility on the Nigerian customs, which of course they are not doing enough. I know they can still improve. They are not doing enough. There has to be that constant engagement. That training must be there, training and retraining, because we are the one that can actually make their work so easy. Okay. When I have the knowledge of a particular substance, the moment I saw it, the next thing for me to do is to say, okay, alert the customs, and the customs will also, because I know the customs have very robust relations with other sister agencies. So it makes it more easier so that we can clean the system together. They can't do it in isolation.
Okay. So from what I've been able to infer from what you said is that there's some level of lacuna in terms of understanding each other, or in terms of understanding the importance of one party, that's the customs area, the customs and the uncustomed customs, like yourself. Yeah. You're saying that there's a little bit of a lacuna there, which brings about maybe the lack of understanding, total understanding of the importance of one party to the other.
Exactly.
So there should be training and retraining.
Of course, there should be, because now you have it's Customs Act. Customs Service, customs itself is an act.
Yeah. The same
that is an international practice.
Yeah.
But there has to be domiciled in every country, every sovereignty, by legislation. And by that legislation of 1954, Customs Act became a practice in Nigeria. Yeah. The uniform customs, the uniform customs are the enforcement arm of the Customs Act, while the uniform are the licensed arm of customs to mobilize resources, financial resources, to the government to meet up on its promises, statutory obligations. Thank you, and also to act as a security fence, also as a second layer security architecture to customs. So
what way, sir?
Okay, just like I've explained, if the licensed customer is well informed,
okay, on,
for instance, the topic of discussion, which is this issue of drug and all that. If he's well informed, well trained, he is the first person to make contact to consignments.
Okay.
And he will be able to deduce whether there's an infraction. And the next thing is for him to now go. I said second layer because the first layer it has to be the freight forwarder, who at that end takes possession of the consignment and gives to the shipper.
The shipping company.
The shipping company. Yeah. So those are the layers. So, but when it comes into our own territory, you have the customs,
and
then you have us.
Licensed customs.
Yes. So that's why I believe that there has to be that synergy. There has to be that collaboration. The customs should not see itself as, we are superior. No. I have argued that at different forums. We are Siamese twins. We render the same service within the ecosystem that we are in. So we must, because they have the wherewithal, they have the resources. They have enough resources at their disposal.
They have the authority.
They have the authority. So that is why it behoves on them to, from time to time, train and retrain us. And also, not just training and retraining.
What does the law, the SEMA Act, say about that? Is it silent in that area, or does it say that?
No. It gives them the SEMA Act
for the training of
exactly
the licensed custodian and the freight forwarders.
Exactly.
Oh,
it gives room for that.
Okay.
So most of these things that we are struggling to do for our members within our own little scarce resources, they are the ones that are supposed to be doing that.
Oh, okay. Now, sir, going back to the issue of these drug-related seizures, what do you think? I know education is part of it. Knowing your client, knowing your client is one of them. The KYC. That's your ability to trust the judgment of your shipper or your importer. That what it says is what it is.
Well,
then what are the other things that one should, as a licensed customs agent, what one should know in order to guard against being roped into this kind of illicit drug importation, sir?
You see, my response to that would be that you cannot really define a human nature just by the face. Those that engage in this illicit business trade, they are also just like people like you and me. You can't see it on their face, and to that extent, you cannot really determine who your knowledge of your customer within that understanding. But what I have been crusading is that our members should know that every action they take, they partake in the in the spread of that illicit trade, also will get back to them.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
They do not live in a vacuum.
Of course, you don't know whether your son
or
will be a victim of that. So that in our mind should let you know that, okay, even at every red flag, you must desist from encouraging. At every red flag, report it to authorities. Then 2, get rich syndrome of some of our members. They also want to become collaborators with some of these.
Willing collaborators.
Willing collaborators.
Okay.
And of course, I won't take away that fact. But then we are doing everything possible within our own capacity to educate our guys, to let them know that, look, even within within the business climate, you can still make your livelihood. And also, lastly, this one is very, very germane. Okay. The SEMA, even as amended, is very clear on what should be the remuneration for our service. But is the custom also helping us? Because we are helping customs to ensure that they meet up with their target. Each time any custom controller comes to tell you, we have made this much, it means that we are the ones that have made that much. Because with the prevalent reforms within the ecosystem, the customs responsibility has been withered down to more of bookkeeping and enforcement.
Okay.
Because in those days they are the collectors.
Okay.
That's why in customs you have collector 1, collector 2, but all those ones are not there again because they don't collect again. We mobilize it. We pay it to bank. The bank is now the collector. And the bank gets its own percentage from that collection. But what comes to the licensed custom agent? Nothing.
What does SEMA say about that, sir?
SEMA says that we should we are entitled to between 2 and 5% of the FOB.
Okay.
But how many people pays that? We are the mercy of the importers. They will tell you, no, if you can't. Our industry is not all that protected.
Structured.
It's not properly protected. It's structured, but not properly protected.
SEMA says you get 2 to 5% of the FOB.
Of the FOB.
From where? From is it not
from the importer?
From the importer.
Of course, from
not
the importer.
Because you guys call yourself the original generators of the revenue. Yeah. Is that actually
of
correct?
Of course. It's very, very correct.
They are the generators of the revenue.
They are not the generators. We are the generators of the revenue. They are only bookkeepers of the revenue.
Is that so? That argument will leave for another
Of course,
day.
a time will come when we'll have an engagement with. In fact, I'm looking forward to a platform where we'll have that engagement with customs representatives. So don't let us take it as if it's one-sided now. The customs are not here to defend themselves. A time will come when we are going to sit down and put things in places. We are the one that will go and mobilize the importers.
Okay.
In the first place. We offer just such services pro bono. They go, they import, they bring, and we are the one that will now act as the agents that will determine how much they are going to pay. They will pay to bank, and from the bank, it goes into the covers of the government. Though through the customs, it's just for them to take it there. So at what point are they now the collectors?
The generators.
You see, when I laugh at times, when the customs will come and say, we have been given the target of so amount. Where would they get it from? Are they going to conjure it? They are not the one giving that target. It is we, the licensed custom agents, that are giving the target. And we'll go out. We are the masses of the customs and we are the masses of the importers. The importers will tell you, hey, you are a thief. Just go away. The customs will tell you, we are watching you, you are a thief. How am I a thief in this case? I am the one that will prepare every document. And I have that vicarious liability on me. I will bring the money into the government covers and I get nothing. Is that fair? These are areas that we are still going to engage with authorities. Yeah. Now there's this demand for 1% of 1% of collections from customs. Up till now, no dime has been paid to us.
And maybe because the people in your area, in your WhatsApp group, are not following the right channel. Make it a law. Maybe by going to the house and asking them to make it a law, so that you get your percentage.
It is even a law on its own. It's a law. It's just the implementation that is the issue.
It's actually a law.
Yes, it's a law. You see, even CSR, corporate social responsibility, demands that from the system you are taking, you must give something back.
Yeah, sure.
So if we are saying that customs should give us 1%, you see the challenge and the challenge we are having within our own ecosystem is because of that unity of purpose, proliferation of associations. So the customs are hiding under that to say, who do we pay to? You have ANACA, you have NAGAF, you have AREF.
You have 6 registered associations.
But then, if you look at it in real terms, it is only ANACA that is related to customs, that is related to customs, revenue generation and all that. Other associations, for instance, NAGAF, National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders. They are freight forwarders.
Well, sir, I think it's a matter of terminology. Yeah.
I don't want to believe that.
Yeah, because even when you talk about that, the issue of whether you guys generate the revenue or that custom is just mere facilitators, it can be debated. Like you suggested, one of these days we bring both you guys and the customs here to talk about this. Okay. But going forward, the issue you raised the most recent one now, about the proliferation of associations. Why can't you guys come together to be able to take care of this particular interest that you talked about?
Exactly. You see, that is actually my own crusade now. I want to beg our leaders who believe that they must be leaders at all costs, they must be chairman of this and all that. So for them to please come together. Let us have a united front so that we can ask for what rightly belongs to us. Okay, now, Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents, Licensed Custom, LCAs, just at one of the recent judgments that was given by one of these federal high courts, it specifies clearly that these are two distinct fields. Freight forwarders, licensed custom agents, they are two distinct, but you will be amazed to know that the so-called freight forwarders carry and operate with custom license. So if you're a licensed custom agent, why not come under just one umbrella as licensed custom, have a united front and confront the authorities and get what rightly belongs to us? So these are areas that I am pleading with my leaders. I'm seriously pleading with my leaders. The president of Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, Elder Emenike Nwokeoji, and founder, like we used to call him in AGAF, that's
Boniface
Anebuna, my very highly respected Oga, that the times are getting more shrinker. Their time is also, they are aging. So the time they have left, they can still use it to bring all the practitioners within the ecosystem under one umbrella, and decide who gets what as leadership positions. And if we have that, then we can speak with own voice. So there's tendency for divide and rule.
Yeah. It's always been there.
The customs doesn't want to pay you your money. And you say, no, Anaka, you can't get the money because Nagaf, you have not, and RF, and all that. But when we come together as one, and don't forget that Anaka is as old as the customs, because Anaka got its life from that from act of
okay. Sir, we're trying to round up here. Tell us a little bit more what the government should do and the licensed customs agents as well as the general public in order to, curb this menace of drug trafficking and use by Nigerians, because it's becoming a very big menace.
Yeah.
You talked about the insecurity causes. There's so much damage it's doing to the Nigerian society. Tell us what all the government on its own side, licensed customs agents on your own side, and the Nigerians generally. Give us a parting shot about what you should do.
The first thing that we need to do, the action plan should be one, stop the inflow of the drugs. That one lies with the government. Okay. Everything they need to do to stop it. Police our porous borders, improve on our porous borders, ensure that even if we're going to have inflow, it will be so minimal, infinitesimal. And also, with the licensed custom agents that will have the force interface, we should equally know that we will be doing the country a great good by preventing the further inflow of the little ones that will escape through the borders into our space, which will ensure that. And also, to the customs should also remunerate the licensed custom agents and also train and retrain licensed custom agents. Then to the public. The public, please, this thing is destroying our future. Let us all agree to fight this scourge. See something and say something. And that you are even protect protected under the whistleblower law. Don't say, it is not my problem, because that problem will eventually be yours. So we should all join hands to ensure that this menace is totally curtailed.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Bola Shirubalogun, the chairman of the Murtala Mohammed Airport chapter of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents. The topic today has been why the upsurge in drug-related seizures. Of course, we know that the negative effect of drug abuse, drug importation, to the populace and to the country as a whole. I hope you've learned a lot. Stick with us again next week as we bring you another edition of the Maritime Frontier Show. Thank you so very much. Have yourself a wonderful day.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma, and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Welcome to the Locker Room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the Locker Room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react. Understand.
Voice of the People, you can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenda Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations, but who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV, channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
2564 is coming up on Burning 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Shaka, who was born in 1787, died September 22nd, 1828. Zulu chief, founder of Southern Africa's Zulu Empire. He is credited with creating a fighting force that devastated the entire region. His life is the subject of numerous colorful and exaggerated stories, many of which are debated by historians. Shaka was the son of Senzangakona, chieftain of the Zulu, and Nandi, an orphaned princess of the neighboring Langeni clan. Because of his parents belonged to the same clan, Their marriage violated Zulu custom, and the stigma of this extended to the child. The couple separated when Shaka was 6, and Nandi took her son back to the Lengani, where he passed a fatherless boyhood among a people who despised his mother. In 1802, Langeni drove Nandi out, and she finally found shelter with the Desheni, a subclan of the powerful Mtetwa. When Shaka was 23, Dingiswayo, the Mtetwa paramount chieftain, called up Shaka's Letsani age group for military service. For the next 6 years, he served with brilliance as a warrior of the Mtetwa Empire. Senzagakona died in 1816, and Dingiswayo released Shaka from service and sent him to take over the Zulu, which at this time probably numbered fewer than 1,500, occupying an area on the White Mfuluzi River. They were among the smallest of the more than 800 Eastern Nguni Bantu clans, but from the day of Shaka's arrival, they commenced their march to greatness. Shaka ruled with an iron hand from the outset, melting out instant death for the slightest opposition. His first act was to reorganize the army. Like all the clans, the Zulu were armed with oxide shields and spindly throwing spears. Battles were little more than brief and relatively bloodless clashes in which the outnumbered side prudently gave way before extensive casualties occurred. Shaka first armed his men with long-bladed, short-hafted stabbing assegais, which forced them to fight at close quarters. He then instituted the regimental system based on age groups quartered at separate kraals and distinguished by uniform markings on shields and by various combinations of headdress and ornaments. He developed standard tactics which the Zulu used in every battle. The available regiments, known collectively as the Impi, were divided into 4 groups. The strongest, termed the chest, closed with the enemy to pin him down, while 2 horns raced out to encircle and attack the foe from behind. A reserve, known as the loins, were seated nearby with its back to the battle so as not to become unduly excited, and could be sent to reinforce any part of the ring if the enemy threatened to break out. The battle was supervised by Indunas, or officers, who used hand signals to direct the regiments. An MP consistently covered 50 miles a day, living off grain and cattle requisitioned from the kraals it passed, and accompanied by boys who carried the warriors' sleeping mats and cooking pots. In 1827, Nandi died, and with his mother's death, Shaka became openly psychotic. About 7,000 Zulus were killed in the initial paroxysm of his grief, and for a year no crops were planted, nor could milk, the basis of the Zulu diet staple, be used. All women found pregnant were slain with their husbands, as were thousands of milch cows, so that even the calves might know what it was to lose a mother. Early in 1828, Shaka sent the Impi south in a raid that carried the warriors clear to the borders of the Cape Colony. They had no sooner returned, expecting the usual season's rest, than he sent them off to raid far in the north. It was too much for his associates and 2 of his half-brothers, Dingane and Mlangana, together with an Induna named Mbopa, murdered him in September of that year.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then
live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
From the young to the wise, with every nation, with a sound that never dies, hop together every dies, heartbeat of revival, let the spirit lead the way, every reverend, every language, praising God in every way. This is gospel fusion.
Well, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and we bid you welcome to your very one stop for the best of gospel entertainment, the very best way that you love it, right here on Voice of the People Television. It is Gospel Fusion Live, and my name remains David E. And this beautiful afternoon, I'm super excited. I'm excited because it's the last day in the month of November 2025. And I dare say we are still having the Thanksgiving edition of the show. I told you last week that the Thanksgiving edition is going to run all through the remaining part of 2025, even to the first Sunday in 2026. So we have so much to be grateful for. And I can tell you for the fact that one man that knows how to really give thanks and give praise and, of course, show gratitude to God is with me in the studio already. Well, without wasting further time, I will get into the entire conversation as we progress. But I want to urge you, wherever you're watching us from, anywhere in the world, I dare say, because you can take us with you anywhere in the world just by going straight to our website, www.vop.ng. Of course, you can get fresh and trending news stories and, of course, happenings like this one that you are presently experiencing. All right, just in case you don't know, it's a magazine program with different segments in it. We're kicking it off with the first segment of the show, and that segment is called the Gospel Music Roots, where we'll give you a very short documentary of how the gospel music around a particular place, country, and of course people has really evolved. I tell you this for a fact. Every other time when we bring up this very short documentary, it gives a bit of light to the fact that gospel music did not just start today. It has stayed, according to one of my friends. And of course, it has evolved and changed lives and culture and even people, I dare say. So we kick it off with that segment. And yes, after that segment, we'll go straight to giving you the top 5 songs of the week as ended yesterday. Well, you know how we do it. Our top 5 song we have to start from today, and of course we'll wrap it up by Friday when all of the collating would have been done. I use that word because we truly want to be at the top of our game by giving you the very, very top 5 gospel songs of the week. Well, without wasting further time, let's kick it off with, of course, where we started from. Oh yes, after that segment, we'll go straight to that part where you and I always wait for, and it's called Behind the Music. And we, of course, at that point, extra gospel, not only musicians, singers, poets, writers, whatever you find your hand to do that you are doing in this space of course, giving back to God by your talent. Okay, let's get to it almost immediately. We'll go straight to the gospel music roots, and our country in focus today is Ghana. Well, our neighboring Ghana. You want to find out how much gospel music has evolved in that country? Let's take this little short break and you discover that. We'll be right back.
The evolution of gospel music in Ghana has been deeply shaped by historical transitions, from indigenous musical traditions to the influence of European missionaries, urbanization, and later the rise of Pentecostal and charismatic movements. Gospel Highlife. Gospel highlife emerged as one of the earliest identifiable forms of Ghanaian gospel music. Rooted in the traditional highlife genre that developed in the 19th and early 20th centuries, this style blended indigenous Akan rhythms, palm wine guitar patterns, brass band influences, and Western harmonies. Eventually, Christian communities and church choirs adopted highlife elements to express worship in a culturally familiar way. As highlife grew into a national sound, churches began infusing Christian lyrics, local language praise, and African percussion into the music. By the 1970s, 1990s, gospel highlife matured into a full genre, incorporating electric guitars, keyboards, and later contemporary production techniques. This fusion made gospel music more accessible and relatable to urban and rural worshippers alike. Gospel highlife served as a bridge between tradition and faith, replacing foreign hymn structures with music that mirrored Ghana's cultural heartbeat. It reinforced national identity within worship, strengthened communal participation, and inspired generations of gospel musicians. It also helped preserve highlife subgenres by giving them spiritual and contemporary relevance. Indigenous church hymns and local spiritual songs. During the colonial period, European missionaries introduced hymns and liturgical music to Ghana. Over time, Ghanaian Christians began translating and adapting these hymns into local languages, Akan, Ga, Dagbani, and others, blending foreign melodies with African vocal textures and call and response traditions. This was the earliest form of Ghanaian gospel expression. As churches grew, local choirs started composing original spiritual songs rooted in indigenous melodies, storytelling, and rhythmic movement. What began as simple translations evolved into fully Ghanaian hymn traditions, combining African tonalities, traditional drumming, folk-style vocal arrangements, and communal participation. Indigenous hymn traditions grounded Christian worship in Ghana's cultural identity. These songs became vehicles of teaching, moral formation, and community bonding. For many older Ghanaians, this hymn tradition remains a cherished memory that shaped their early spiritual experiences. Choral and classical gospel traditions.
Last night I lay sleeping, there came a dream.
Influenced by Western classical music introduced through mission schools and cathedral churches, chorale singing became prominent in Ghana. Groups such as school choirs, seminary choirs, and cathedral ensembles developed refined styles combining Western harmony with Ghanaian vocal warmth. On evolution. Over the years, chorale music incorporated more Africanized arrangements, drumming, Ghanaian linguistic inflections, and contemporary compositions. Modern Ghanaian composers began producing choral gospel works that married classical discipline with rich indigenous expression. Choral gospel music enriched Christian worship with structure, harmony, and emotional depth. It nurtured musical literacy, trained generations of singers, and became central to Christmas concerts, festivals, and national worship events. It also encouraged cross-cultural appreciation between Western and African forms of sacred music. Pentecostal/charismatic gospel, modern contemporary gospel, asterisk.
More
From the 1980s onward, the rise of charismatic and Pentecostal churches revolutionized Ghana's gospel landscape. These movements embraced energetic, expressive worship styles, giving birth to a new generation of gospel artists. Modern Ghanaian gospel incorporated contemporary rhythms, Afrobeat, pop, reggae, urban grooves, and R&B influences, fused with local languages and African percussion. This era produced nationally celebrated icons and popularized gospel music beyond church walls, extending it into radio, television, and mainstream entertainment. Influence popular music and national celebrations. The fusion of indigenous rhythms, Western influences, and spiritual themes has produced a dynamic, resilient gospel tradition that continues to evolve and inspire.
If that is the only thing I will do, I just want to thank you, Jehovah. I just want to bless.
The traditional gospel music traditions of Ghana, gospel highlife, indigenous hymns, choral/classical gospel, and modern Pentecostal gospel, form the backbone of the nation's sacred musical heritage. Their evolution reflects Ghana's rich cultural history and its ability to blend African identity with spiritual devotion. These genres continue to shape societal values, community identity, and generational.
From the young to the wise, with every nation, with a sound that never dies, hop together every dies. Heartbeat of revival, let the spirit lead the way. Every reverend, every language, praising God in every way. This is gospel fusion.
All right, then there you have it. I mean, for me, I was telling our guest in the studio right now that I think Ghanaians, after Nigeria, has about the highest number of gospel artists in Africa. Well, I might be wrong if you ask me, but I mean, with exceptional artists like Joe Metal, Minister MOG, Omar Hesse, Nancy, quite a number of these guys. I mean, they're doing well when it comes to their sound. And truly, God is glorified. And I dare say as well that they've had some level of improvement with their sound. Trust me, High Life cannot be taken out of Ghana, because that, for me, is who they are. I mean, their major sound when it comes to High Life, you would find it in Ghana. They have it, just like you have the DRC with Makossa, right? I mean, it's just their sound. But we celebrate all of the artists in Ghana, gospel artists in Ghana, and we celebrate God in their life. All right, without wasting further time, let's let you into our top 5 gospel songs of the week as ended yesterday. Well, someone told me last week that our list for the previous week was flawed by one particular artist, and I said, who is the artist? Come on, if you think it's flawed, send us your list. And then, of course, the person sent in their list, and I saw it, I was like, okay, is this what you mean by flawed? But, like I always would say, our top 5 have been rigorously picked all across almost all social media platforms. These songs were making the wave. And again, like I will say, if you think 1-2 songs of your choice isn't on the top 5, you best know what to do. Send us your top 5 on all of our social media platforms. On YouTube, we're at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. So go to our comment section, just drop your top 5 songs of the week, and of course, out of the hashtag Gospel Fusion Live, hashtag top 5 gospel song of the week. And just maybe, like I always will say, your top 5 might just be the very top 5 for next week. All right, without wasting further time, let's know what and who made it to our top 5 song of the week. Stay with us.
Gospel Fusion Live, Top 5 Gospel Song of the Week.
Number 5.
I asked the Lord what heaven is singing now.
Number 4.
Lord, here I am before your throne. I lay me.
Number 3.
You do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist.
Number 2. Number 1.
When trouble comes my way, I get on my knees, I got a couple things to say. I'm not fainting or the shake, if they ask me how.
Gospel Fusion Live.
All right, then there you have it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, when I saw that list, I said Limo Blaze really is making it to that number 1 spot. And again, that is to tell you that top gospel artists in Nigeria and of course outside Nigeria are doing great, and of course blessing the name of God with their gift. And of course the evidence is all what we see right now. There you have it, our top 5 song of the week. Of course, Limo Blaze making it to the number 1. Do say with Pastor Lawrence Oyor making it to the number 2. And again, someone did say something about that song, that the fact that Pastor Lawrence was on it again gave it another beautiful feel. And I really would say, yes, it did. And trust me when I say this, sometimes some of these songs that we think have passed and then some persons jump on it, you just uncover that it has another life to it. But again, that is just how it goes. All right, then, let's get to the main conversation proper without wasting further time. Our guest is in the studio, and this is a man that I think a lot of Nigerians truly will be asking. Okay, so I'll tell you a story. When I posted the e-flyer, someone actually private chatted me and said, "Are you serious? Is he really coming?" I said, "Yes, it's coming." He said it's coming. So we hope you'll be here. Because he's a very, I repeat, very busy minister of God. And I'm so excited to have him here. Without wasting further time, please let's make welcome Minister Dare David. A very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
And I'm excited to have you here because it's been a long time coming as far as I'm concerned. Wow. Because a lot of persons truly have been asking, I thought you have one time had a conversation with this man that time in your other station. I said, yes, but I'm going to bring him back here again. And there we have it. I'm so excited to have you here. All right, let's get into it almost immediately. Quite a number of persons who want to know, first off, the ones that know Minister Dare David as a gospel music minister, a multiple award-winning gospel music minister, who is Minister Dare David?
Well, so first, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I don't take it lightly. My name is Dare David. First, I'm a child of God. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and I love God. I'm a keyboardist, drummer, bassist, music producer, choir director. I'm all encompassing. I do music and I just enjoy worshiping and praising God, basically.
Amazing. Well, again, like I would say, if you see people like this who have that multi-talent, you only would have one thing to do, try to dig more into them and find out things you can just, take for yourself. And that is what we're doing today. Anyways, once again, I want to say thank you again for being here. Let's get into it almost immediately. Interestingly, as it stands, yes, you have ministered across the world and, of course, across continents, basically. From your words, what would you say is the divine moment that you did tell yourself that this is at the point God is calling me to full-time gospel music ministry?
I think that happened when I was around, say, 19 or thereabout. I started this very early. I was 10 years old when I started playing drums, and I've been doing that for almost all my life. And I got to a point where music was first a passion, and then it became a ministry. Because some people mix it together. They love music and they just do it, and they do it in the church. but it's not a ministry. It's just something that they enjoy to do, and it's just maybe a career. But it was first a passion. I was not trying to play gospel music. I just enjoyed music first.
Right.
Then I had an encounter with God.
Okay.
So then I merged the two together. So I was about 1920, I believe so, and I had an encounter with God where I was told that I was supposed to, that God, he said he has called me.
Right.
And I was supposed to take this very seriously. And it was at that point that I really believed that I took it seriously. Before then, I was just having fun. So I think it was at that point that I really started doing music.
Now, you know, you started at a very young age, just like you did mention. And for some persons, it didn't start that way. For some persons, it started a bit later.
Right.
How were you able to identify that it is not just for you now a passion, but also something that is a ministry that you need to put your every and all into? At what point did you get to that stage?
So first, I discovered that anytime I do anything musical, there was a grace for it. So that's one of the things you will see. If you are a music minister or you do something in music, try to see what you do. Even if it's small, even if I don't put a lot of effort, I see that there's a grace of God over it. And then I started paying attention, of course, with a lot of prayers, and then, of course, with mentors. That's another thing. I had mentors that I asked questions. Okay, if I'm saying this, what does it mean? If I'm saying, and they guided me, and they said, okay, just like Eli did for Samuel.
Right.
When God called him multiple times, and he said, next time you hear the voice of God, just say, I'm here, send me. So that's exactly what happened. I had mentors that guided me. And of course, with prayers and understanding of what God wanted to do, that was how I was able to identify that this is a ministry and not just something that I would just play with.
Now, on the part of mentor, really, I'd like you to maybe buttress more points on it. How important and how impactful can that be for a young gospel music minister who is about starting and is watching you right now? How very impactful or how important is having a mentor going into the ministry?
It's very, very important. I would tell people, I would say that having a mentor is like someone has gone ahead to do an exam for you, and they will just show you the answers to that exam. Just like, I mean, we know JAMB here, out there, God, JAMB is in Nigeria. So imagine someone going to that exam or did all the answers, made all the mistakes, and say these are the right answers, these are the wrong ones, and just comes out of that exam and say, see, this is the answer. So mentors helps us to see how the future, we ride on their shoulder to see where they missed some things, and then how we can do better. And then they guide us to know the right from our left and all of us. So mentorship is so important in this journey if you want to go very far.
All right, then, well, again, someone would want to say, okay, would a mentor clearly help you identify your sound? Because you've been in the U.S., I mean, you reside in the U.S. as it were, and...
change it, because when you are in a place where you have to cater to multiple audiences, like people from different cultures.
Yeah.
You know, I would say that Nigerian artists are blessed because they minister mostly to their, I mean, of course, Nigerian music now has become international now. But for us over there, we had to, I mean, you've been in a service where you have people from about 10 countries. So you cannot, your music has to be, has to encompass everything. You cannot do Yoruba much, you cannot do Igbo much. You have to think about all the cultures.
Right.
And then you also have to look at the sound. I mean, there's a sound that is acceptable on some levels. I mean, the Caucasians are there, which are the white people, the blacks are there. How do you now merge together the two sounds? The Caucasian like the guitar, a lot of that. The black people like a lot of bass and heavy sound. So you have to find a niche. Meanwhile, not forgetting your cultural, your African background. You still have to remember that. So we that we are outside of the country, we do a lot of work to make sure that we can cater to a lot of people.
Right.
If you're not careful, people back home, they'll say, oh, we don't know this guy anymore. He's not doing the kind of music that we like. But if you're also not careful, people over there will say, okay, this guy is too African. We cannot invite him to our church. So you have to find a balance. So I have to look for the balance.
Wow.
In all of this, yes.
Well, again, in looking for the balance, you have not in any way missed your sound. And that, again, brings me to my next question about worship. How much of worship is going beyond the stage? Because I've heard people say worship is just beyond the stage. From your perspective, shed more light on this particular sentence. I don't want to even preempt you. You're a worshiper. I've seen you do this, seamlessly. But worship beyond the stage. Shed more light.
So I believe that worship is a lifestyle. It has to be a lifestyle for it to make sense, for it to be a part of you. I tell people, I said, if the only time you worship is when you come on stage, then you're a performer, you're not a worshiper. Because worship is not what we do, it's the life that we live.
Right.
So you cannot say, oh, I'm a worshiper and the only time I do it is when I come on Sunday morning. It has to be what you do on Monday, on Tuesday, like every day. And worship is a sacrificial living. The Bible says in Romans 12 verse 1, that present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable before God, which is your reasonable worship.
Right.
So we have to live the life of worship for it to be a part of us when we come on the stage. So we live worship. We just don't do worship.
You just took all of the best of the answers as far as I'm concerned. But this is a generation presently. Some have said that this generation needs so much explanation to do. From your perspective, in a generation flooded with trends like today, how do you stay spiritually grounded and, of course, musically relevant without compromising the gospel?
Yeah, it takes a lot of first your personal work with God, remembering where you are coming from, because we are all of us at some point you'll be pressured. There'll be pressure to do this kind of music, to say this kind of word, to dance this kind of dance, to act this kind of way, to charge this kind of money, because that's what everybody's doing. But first you have to know who called you. This race is a personal race. You have to know what God told you. You have to understand the people that God has sent you to, because the funny thing is that you are not sent to everybody. Right. So the fact that there's an artist that is popular doing this side of music, you just don't say, oh, I will leave my own calling and just focus on this person's calling because it's raining right now. So you have to know who called you, you have to know who you are sent to, and then you have to understand your timing. This is so important. The fact that this does not look like, oh, it's all over you're not all over the world right now. Ask God. Sometimes God is just preparing you. I was in that place where I was crying, God, what you promised me, why it is not happening? But at the right time, doors opened and things started working. And then one thing that God will always ask me is that, so when I get to a point when things work and I feel like I need more, I'll go back to God. And God will say, the one that worked, what was your contribution in it? Were you the one that made it to happen? They'll be like, okay, I was not the one. So you have to understand this. And so that's how you can stay grounded, stay focused, so that you're not chasing every trend. Because if you chase every trend, you will lose your identity, trust me. You chase this trend, you leave, and then you will not have your own uniqueness. Wow. So that's the important part.
I like the fact that you did say now that you are not called for everybody. And that is super key because I also heard you say while you were talking that you had a time where you were asking God questions, which is, again, going to bring me to my very next question. For some persons, they're looking at Dare David right now. I mean, he's there, quote unquote, but how were you able to navigate those moments where it didn't look like it was happening? And this, again, is a practical part of this conversation because I like to be very practical. I know a lot of young people and even old folks are listening and watching right now, and they would be like, okay, he's talking all theoretical. How practical was he able to navigate through that moment? Because that, again, is like a lifeline for one person possibly watching right now.
Correct. So first, I would not sit down here and tell you that, oh, it has been rosy. Everything was just moving well. There were times of despair. There were times of, is it going to even work? And of course, God has spoken. And then you're asking yourself, what God has said, is it going to work? But the first thing that I normally would do is to enjoy the process. You see, if you love what you're doing, even if you're not paid for it, even if you're not popular, you will still like it. So I love music. I love God. So even if the whole world is going upside down, if you give me a microphone or if you put me in front of a keyboard, I am fulfilled. I may not be paid for it. I may be paid for it. So far, I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going. Wow. So that's the first thing. Number two, don't be in this ministry because you want to be popular or you want to make money. You will be frustrated. Trust me. Wow. Number three, understand that God's timing may not be your timing. Just serve God. Be in the church. Be part of a choir. I never wanted to be a gospel artist.
Okay.
I was just in the church, just enjoying playing drums and all of that.
Oh, wow.
And from there, God took me. So enjoy the process, understand the timing, and just love God at the right time. Bible says we should not be weary in well-doing.
Right.
In due season, come on, you will reap it.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to tell you.
Right. Well, again, that is a major one for me. I mean, sometimes when I get to hear people like this, it only puts me aback. And of course, I have the joy to clearly tell myself that I know one person or two other persons are watching right now and would be encouraged by these words, because it is practical example of people who's gone ahead in that particular industry or in that particular endeavor that you found yourself. Minister Dare, again, as it stands, your worship song, I must say, are deeply rooted, and one that consistently run through my head every other time is Eze, the one you did with Osby Berry. Some say that, yes, you have a very strong, soul-stirring kind of worship. What's your creative and spiritual process, really, if you really want to go writing?
I have multiple ones. There's no one way. There are times I receive songs, which a lot of times I receive songs from my dreams. I wake up, grab my phone, and I will record a couple of songs. There are times when it's in the place of prayers, when I'm praying, I will be singing a song, maybe a popular song, and then right after that, my own song, God will just give me another song from there. And there are times when I actually sit down as a musician and say, I want to create a song. I'm not ministered to by, of course, the Holy Spirit eventually will be the one that will do the work, put it together, but I want to write a song to God. I want to say, God, you are faithful, you are kind, you are glorious. And I put together my own song with the piano, with the knowledge of music. So there are different ways that I write songs.
So it's not like it's just a one-way thing for you. Like some other persons would say, it's when I go to my very quiet place, I have a space to want to write, but yours is on diverse.
I may be driving and the song will just come. Like there's been a lot of songs that I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting down and the song will just come like that. And I'll just grab the phone. Thank God for the phone that we can record our song.
That's another easy means of having to not forget what God gave you. Anyways, you've collaborated with quite a number of artists. I mean, both American and African gospel artists. And again, it's been a beautiful journey my own words now. But how have you been able to bridge the gap and, of course, cultural and musical differences between these races and, of course, this kind of people?
So featuring is majorly to bring the influence of the other artists to your own music. Of course, to also tap into their own audience too. So we're in an era where African music is becoming something very big. So even all the other cultures, they understand our music now, and they even want to feature on some of our songs. So doing the song with Osby Berry, for example, now I knew that it would be something that would take him out of his own comfort zone to sing an Igbo word. The same thing with Jonathan Nelson. I did Arubu Ojo, which was a difficult word for an American that would say the word B, GB. Like they would probably just say Arubu Ojo. He had to work on that. So I love to bring our culture because that's where I can be unique. I don't want to be swallowed in their culture. Although we bring them, I bring them into our culture. So their people know them, and then my people will know them too. So that's the whole idea, to bridge cultures together. So we have Americans say, oh, I know this artist. We have Nigerians say, oh, I know this title of the song. And I can connect it together. So that's it.
I mean, that's some persons we want to say is quite a difficult job, still not losing your identity and even the sound as it were. Anyways, let's get to talking about you again. What is happening right now with Minister Dare David?
So I am constantly on tour. I'm always traveling. I'm always moving.
That one you can't even take it away from him.
I mean, to the glory of God, to God be the glory. I'm presently in Nigeria ministering. I was in City of David this morning, and I'm going to be at David Christian Center, Pastor Midred and Kingsley Okonkwo next Sunday. But more importantly, I have my own live recording coming up on this Thursday by 4 p.m. in Omole Resound Studio. I mean, if you're watching and you want to be part of it, just show up, no restriction. Of course, we don't have a lot of space, but just if you can make it, that's fine. It's going to be by 2 p.m. So that's actually one of the reasons why I am back home in Nigeria.
Okay.
But apart from that, I mean, I want to also always come back home, connect more with my people, because this is where I came from and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose the touch, the flavor, the taste of of Africa and Nigeria.
I like that part. But since you returned, what meal have you been able to?
Oh my God. I mean, if you check my Instagram, I posted, I went to a place and I wanted to eat. Before I came, I already told myself, oh, I'm going to eat amala, I'm going to eat this one, I'm going to eat. And then I got to this place and there were a lot of options. I was like, okay, where do I start from? Eventually, I think I just had rice and I went back there to have amala too. So, I mean, I was brought up here, so I love our culture, I love the food, I love the people, I love the fashion and all of that.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, then. Let's also, well, you heard him before I go further to ask him other questions. He's live recording. Yes.
Right.
Live recording is this Thursday. Somewhere at
Resound Studio in Omole.
Resound Studio in Omole. So if you're watching right now, you're free that Thursday. Just breeze in and of course enjoy worship. I tell you for a fact, it's going to be a moment you don't want to miss. What time again?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. Some of us will be here reading the African news, but then it's just what we do. But we'll find a way and still possibly get there, hopefully, before time. All right, let's continue with this conversation. A lot of questions are being asked about mentorship that you did say earlier. You definitely should be a mentor to other young artists. As it stands, how and what would you tell young artists wanting to step into this shoe of gospel music ministry full-time? What would be your advice to these kind of young people?
I have a lot of them, but I'll make them short. Number one, be sure that you're called of God. That is what will keep you going, because trust me, there will be trouble, there will be suffering, there will be persecution, there will be doubt in your heart. So be sure that you're called of God. Number two, ask Him for where you are called to, what style. And you will know that from what people gravitate towards. When you do this style, people say, oh, we love it. You do that style. They're like, okay, it's okay. I mean, just understand what that means for you. Number two, be very open-minded to a lot of changes. Meet people, love people, be humble. And of course, one of the biggest ones, stay prayed up. Like, stay in a place of prayer. There's no secret that any major gospel artist will tell you, this thing does not happen by power, not by might. It is by the Spirit. So there has to be a supply of the Spirit of Jesus for you to stay on the course, and don't let anything, fame, money, take your attention from Jesus. Apart from that, being a full-time gospel artist, you must have all the things you're doing to make money. Trust me, in this age, because I tell you, there's a lot of debate about, oh, you're charging, you're not charging, and all of that. So you want to be in a place where you are not dependent totally on money for ministry. At some point, if God blesses you and you are very busy, you can go full into it. But at the beginning, money for production, money to promote, YouTube will not tell you you're a child of God. Don't worry, I will not pay. So you have to find a way to make sure that you have an income that can sustain you until God actually announces you. Those will be some of the things I would say.
All right, then. On the path of mentoring, do you mentor young people?
Yes.
And how can they connect to you? Should they want to also ask personal questions that, of course, they may not find a way to do it right now before the show ends?
Correct. I do. Actually, one of my biggest, calling and desire is to actually mentor people. I've put it down in my life's work years ago that I want to help gospel artists because I made a lot of mistakes when I was starting out. So the way to connect to me is on social media. I'm on Instagram, official Dare David on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, Dare David, Facebook, Dare David. And if you forget anything, just go on Google and just put Dare David. I have a website, officialdaredavid.com. You can send an email. Anyhow, most of the time I will be the one directly answering you, or I have an assistant doing that. But I would know about it. I read my emails and I also influence what goes out to people.
All right, there you have it. You can always reach out to him when it comes to mentoring. And I can tell you for a fact that he definitely would give you a listening ear. And of course, maybe your pathway towards this particular industry, you might just find it a bit more seamless when you connect to people like this. Because trust me, experience, they say, is the best teacher when you have people like them who's gone ahead of us. Now, there's something that came to mind while you were talking. In today's gospel scene, where performance sometimes overshadows presence, how have you been able to navigate this? Because I've seen your worship session, and I can tell for a fact, now I'm not even trying to talk you happy here, I can tell for a fact that there is presence aside performance. I mean, we're deep in this thing. Some of us are deep in this when it comes to worship. How have you been able to navigate not allowing performance overshadow presence?
It's a little, I won't say difficult, but we are in a season where people actually want the performance more than people that are not doing all of the things on stage.
Yes.
Mind you, just to be clear, I'm also a musician, so I try to make sure things are put in the right context. Ministration and whatever we do is also a form of performance. But when it comes to the gospel setting, we cannot make the performance bigger than the presence, like what you said. So personally, for me, I make sure that the attention is not totally on me. Like, I don't do things that will put all the attention on me. In fact, someone has told me that I close my eyes most of the time because I'm like, I don't want people to see, like, I'm not here for you to, oh, I'm here, look at me, I'm doing it. No, I'm just like, if you know who I am, I'm a very gentle, I'm actually a shy person. But when I go on stage, I'm a totally different person. So I try to make sure that the attention remains on the person that deserves it. So that's what I think is a place of the heart. I don't try to do, like, it's not like I plan it. I just focus on the person that sent me to the stage.
Big one, big word there, I must say, big word. Because of our time, really, I would want to go on and on and on, but we have to do two things. We can't escape these two things. One is our popular game, and of course, allow him bless us with his sound before we leave. But before I let him leave, interestingly, someone did tell me that Minister Dare David is one that blessed her sometime that she was going through a season. And she stumbled across a particular song. I can't remember the song right now, by you. And that moment, it really did minister to her. And one question that is struck, and I'm talking about a minister as well.
Oh, wow.
What struck me in all of this is that this same person said at the time she was struggling with identity. And it just dawned on her that it is just about having to be alone with God that you can get, to settle the matter of identity. Well, let me hear from you, basically. Gospel artists struggling with identity. Those torn between pursuing fame and, of course, fulfilling God's purpose. How do they navigate this? How do they get to fulfill the mandate? And, of course, get the identity as well and not lose it.
Correct. So I kind of mentioned it the other time. Of course, the first to stay with God, but apart from that, listen to other people and then step out, do things, keep doing it. Sometimes God will use people to tell you that, okay, this is the one I've called you to.
Right.
And then, like, it will just bless a particular style. Like, don't restrict yourself, open yourself up, do things. And number 3, talk to mentors, talk to people. Don't think you are wise on your own side. Say, okay, I'm doing this, what do you think? Ask questions.
Okay.
I think like that, you will know exactly how to figure out your identity. And once you figure it out, just stay there.
Now, talking about identity, really, I sometimes ask myself, do people need to really struggle before they can identify themselves?
No. So you should be yourself. Whatever gives you joy, whatever style you can do naturally without struggling, that's what God has called you to.
So you don't have to really go through that struggling path before we. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I don't want to push forward because of our time. I'm actually checking the time now. I'm just asking myself, oh my goodness, when did we start this conversation? Really? When? But again, this is about where we have to hold on this conversation. I really would wish that we continue this conversation, but because of our time, really, we would have to hold it here. But we cannot allow Minister Dare David leave without blessing God's people. And again, this for me is something that is, if you ask me, he doesn't have a choice on this one. He just has to do it. I'm trying to also look at some, maybe 1 or 2 games that I can play with him. Oh yes, I didn't ask, how do you relax aside doing music? I know you're married with, of course, your kids and all. How do you relax?
I watch movies, I go out, I take a walk, I travel, and I mean, basically spend time with the family. That's it. I don't watch soccer like a lot of other people. I do music a lot. That's the point. I stay in music a lot.
When you do music, that's more like you're doing the same thing you do almost every day.
Correct. But I mean, I take time. I rest. I watch movies.
How do you manage familyhood? Well, if there's any word like that, how do you manage the ministry, family, and business as well?
Yeah, it's something that I've mastered. You have to prioritize things.
Okay.
There is time for family.
Right.
There is time for music. You don't put the time of music for family.
Oh, wow.
You don't mix it up. So you just separate them and make sure that each person is seen and you give the right attention to each person. If you miss family, you're in trouble. If you mess with music, you're also in trouble with God. So just finding a way to balance this.
Okay. Any collaboration in the near future? I know 2025 is almost going. Just with your recording right now.
Well, I'll have a couple of them coming next year, but for this one, I'm probably just featuring one person, IBK, from the from our Tim Guthrie member. Yeah. So she's gonna be on the recording this Thursday.
Okay.
By God's grace. Yes.
All right, then there we have it. Again, like he said earlier, you can be a part of the live recording this Thursday, 2 p.m. somewhere at Omole
Resound Studio.
Resound Studio at Omole. And I tell you for a fact, again, you cannot not be blessed when you get to that particular venue. All right, in another 1 minute, 30 seconds, thereabouts, Minister Dare David will be singing us the studio with, of course, bless God's people at the time. All right, let's have you do it.
Your name is highly lifted up above every other name. We say you alone deserve the praise. You are the mighty God, hey, the great I am. You say you alone deserve the praise. Everybody say, Eze, Eze, Eze. We say you alone deserve the praise.
There you have it. Thank you so very much, Minister Dare David, for being here. We sincerely do appreciate you as always. And we hope that some of the time when you're around, you
by God's grace.
You just heard him. I mean, he promises to believers, right? All right, people, this is where we have to draw anchor on the conversation this beautiful afternoon. And I want to say big thanks to every single person who also did tune in. Yes, my guys at the back, I totally appreciate all of y'all for consistently staying with me on this one. And of course, to you out there that have taken your time to see us today, I want to say a big thank you to you as well. Always, like I always will say, don't forget, God has got you. He is not letting you down. He might be letting you learn, but he has got you always. And yes, celebration, whatever be the celebration that you're celebrating today or in the course of the week, we want to say super congratulations to you. As we go, in a couple of minutes from now, 8 minutes from now, yes, 4 p.m. Nigerian time, myself and world famous DJ IBAM will be giving you the best of amazing praise to the one who consistently is faithful to you and I, even in our unfaithfulness. Yes, we would be definitely giving him praise. 1 full hour of unstoppable praise. And that, of course, is also on the Thanksgiving edition of Gospel Fusion Live. Well, that program, you know, is Praise Wave Live. Okay, this is where we have to draw the curtain. Thank you so very much for being here. Until we come your way again, same time next week. And of course, a few minutes after now, on the other side, Praise Wave Live, I want to say, do have a beautiful week ahead. Don't forget, God loves you and so do we. Have a great weekend ahead. God bless.
Wise, with every nation, with a sound that never dies, hop together never dies. Heartbeat of revival, let the Spirit lead the way. Every reverend, every language,
we encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Lovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV. Live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma, and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apeon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People Television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the Atlas.
2564 is coming up on Bernie 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.